Hello, hello, hello. I thought I would pop in here today and do this Facebook Live, which is being done from a squeaky chair. So, yes, it's being done from a squeaky chair, so please forgive any squeaking that you hear. Please forgive my passionate nature on this video, because actually sales is something I'm really passionate about. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please forgive the fact that I'm making references to Facebook, because I'm actually streaming this into my Facebook group. So if you are on YouTube and you are watching this, kudos to you for watching this, but also kudos to you for now let me tell you why I'm distracted, because of the way I say kudos. I say kudos and my American coach says kudos. So now every time I say it, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. That's why I paused. My internal dialogue was shouting and screaming at me louder than what was coming out of my mouth. Anyway, I digress. If you are watching this on YouTube, please know that I felt like really inspired to share this outside of my group too, because I think this is a valuable lesson for all of us. So this is going to be, what, 10 minute, I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes, a 10-minute kind of nugget. In fact, if I do keep it under 10 minutes, you'll even get to watch this on LinkedIn as well. So here's what happened today. Last week, let's just say I had a week of it, what with a fractured tooth, toothache, an extraction and all sorts of things going on. I actually had a bit of a mold problem. I should say we did, because we share this place. So we had a bit of a damp problem going on. Now, it's a rented place, and yes, my landlord could sort it out and all of that, but we wanted to get this issue sorted, and I wanted to get to the root cause of what was causing the damp. Not my property, I know, but I care about these sorts of things. So after a lot of shenanigans and to and fro-in, we today were finding people who remove mould and get to the source of what's causing it. So the piece that I'm most interested in sharing with you is what happened when we called a company. Now, this company came highly recommended on Google, and yes, I know that it's hard to quantify the comments that people make, but it came highly recommended. And from the conversation, very short conversation that I had with one of the people there, I'm not going to name the company and I'm not going to name the person I spoke to, but for the purposes of this video, let's call them Bob. Let me write that down, because I'll forget what I've called Bob and maybe call him by his real name or another name and confuse everybody. And I simply wanted to share with you what to do and what not to do in your sales calls. Now, whether you are just getting started in sales calls and you offer a service for your business, whether you've been doing this for a while or whether you've been doing this for a long time, it was like word to the wise, and certainly a lesson that I will take on myself, even though I've heard this. So I just want to kind of like set the scene. I have actually been teaching sales for decades now. Even before I did this business, I taught sales in financial services. I helped coach sales people, sales managers, sales directors, and I really like that space. One of the things that salespeople get a bad reputation for is this notion that they have to have the gift of the gab. This notion that they have to be able to blag it, or this notion that they have to be able to be all things to all men. That actually doesn't make a good salesperson. So I want to just start by saying that out front. If you have any nerves around sales, please don't adopt any of those strategies. They're not good ones. So make the call from the mobile. We'll put it on loudspeaker so both of us can speak. And by the time we've dialed this number, we've seen all the other companies there. Their website tells us that they're the best and that they can deal with the problem, clean it up, find the source, test what kind of mold it is, clean the air and do all things. And that's what I want. I'm a person that knows what I want. The lady that I bought my car from, when I bought it like off the forecourt, back in 2003, said those very words to me a few seconds after I opened my mouth. You're a woman who knows what you want. And it's true for most of us. By the time people get to you, they already have an idea of what they want. And often the conversation they're having with you is whether it's a match or not. And I know that this happens in all sorts of places, from newbies to established business owners. In fact, I had a friend who had a sales call with somebody who's going to help them with their Facebook ads. And this person has been established in business, got a great reputation, really great at what they do. When my friend went to have the sales call, she got a team member, but that's okay. You know, they were quite happy with that. So they get the team member on the phone, who's the salesperson, and without going through the whole conversation, all I know is that when my friend came off the phone, they no longer wanted the Facebook ad help with this particular person, and to boot, they felt like the salesperson was actually doing that business a disservice. And I'm not going to go as far as to say that the conversation I had did them a disservice, but it is possible that if you've got the wrong type of skill sets within your salesperson, or you're the person making the sales calls and you don't have these very simple skills, which are actually a lot easier than you think, you can on-sell somebody. So I went on the phone to make this call to get the person out there, pay whatever I needed to pay to be able to have this service. And by the time I hung up on the call, or I should say I ended the call, I didn't hang up on them, but by the time we ended the call, I just thought, I'm just going to go with someone else. Which is sad, because I suspect the company could do a really good job. So here's what I learned. We came onto the call, we knew what we wanted to find out how much it was and when's the soonest they could come out. So to start off with, I didn't want to beat around the bush. I just came on the call and said, this is a problem we have, this is how long we've had it for, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want to rectify it. In short, we've got a problem with mold, it's not kitchen or bathroom, and we need to get rid of it. We want to get rid of it quickly. Your website says that you can get rid of it, test it, everything else. The first response was one that kind of disheartened me a bit. It was, oh, well, if somebody is to come out, we will charge for that, you know, which is a really strange answer to a question that I didn't ask. I didn't say, do you do any free consultations or anything else like that? So be careful of that. So first lesson is make sure that your services make sure that you know that it's likely your services have already sold before the sale. It's quite possible to talk somebody out of a sale, and it's quite possible to discover when you're on a call with them that they don't need what you're offering, or you can't help them. That's okay too. That's a discovery. It could be they don't like the fact that I say the word ARX and they want somebody that can say ARX. I'm cool with that. But know that before the person has gotten the phone to you, your services have likely already sold before the sale. So because of that, listen to what services they need, make sure that you're a match for those services and can help them. And if you're not sure how you can help them, ask the kind of questions that delves deeper into what it is specifically they want you to do. This is super important. Because then the next thing that happened, and I'm just kind of like looking at this, the clue that people will give you, especially when they're looking at potentially inquiring about your services, is they will tell you what they're most worried about, what they're struggling with, what they're stressed out about, what they wish for. They will tell you all or one of those things. Essentially, in the coaching world, we talk about what keeps you awake at night. And we started off with, this is a problem we've got, this is what we're worried about, this is what we want someone to come out and sort it out as quickly as possible. So by not listening to where the person is struggling, there will be a mismatch. And if there's a mismatch, the potential client will go away saying, you know what, can't be doing with them. And I have to say, I don't disagree with this, but one of the phrases bandied after this conversation was used car salesman. There's nothing more frustrating as a customer when you're worried about something and you're articulating what you're worried about, what you need, you think you're in good hands, and the person's completely talking about something different. Which leads me to my third lesson. 2 of those and 1 of these. Now, this kind of like comes from a very thin slice of something that I run called Presentations That Sell, and this is about how we have an ability to present our services, knowing that we want to sell our products and services, yet sometimes what we'll actually do is talk somebody out for sale. So this comes from a bigger piece of work, something that I've taught in travel, in financial services, in the coaching world, in premium or high-end or high-ticket pricing, in events, consultancy, so many different industries, and actually the principles are still the same. But because I want to keep this under 10 minutes, I'm being quick. So finally, I think I've managed 10 minutes now. 2 of these and 1 of those. 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in the way that they are kind of seen. Listen more, talk less. When you're having a sales call with somebody, your job, and this person demonstrated this terrible skill beautifully, your job isn't to talk the person into submission, to force them, coerce them, persuade them, let them know that they need to buy your stuff. Your job is to listen to the problems that they're expressing and give them some answers that can help. Not give them the answers so they don't need your services, but give them the answers of what they need to do next. This is really, really important. And most people struggle at this because they're not sure which questions to ask. Well, listening to what the person's saying and having your question formed from there is uber helpful. And anyone in the travel industry will tell you that sometimes, especially if you're a travel agent, especially given these current times, that you will feel like an order taker. You won't feel like an order taker if you're asking these sorts of questions, which feed you with information where you know how you can help, if you can help, what to recommend, what to suggest. Okay, so that's it for now. Please don't be like Bob. Remember that by the time someone's got to you, they have an inkling of something that they want. Find out what that thing is that they want. Ask them the questions they need, because it's likely that their services have sold already. I know that with me and what I do as a visibility specialist, people either have fear around being visible, they struggle with how to be visible, and struggle with how to have clients like even know what they do or listen to what they say. Sometimes they just wish it could be a lot easier. Okay, none of those are good or bad, right or wrong, they're just different. Okay, so that's the first thing. So know that your services have likely been selling before the sale. Second thing, what is the problem that they're coming to you with? You really need to listen and sometimes tap into what is going on with that person even more. And the third thing, 2 of those tiny little ears, probably your ears are bigger than mine. Look how small my ears are. I think they stopped growing when I was about 4. 1 of those. Listen more than you speak. Use that ratio. 2 of those, 1 of those. Listen twice as much as you speak. You will hear where the person is struggling. They will tell you. This is so important. Don't try and used car salesman them. Don't try and talk over them. Don't try and give them the gift of the gab. None of that is useful. And the best salespeople, and I've worked with some of the world's best salespeople, they will tell you that if you listen, you can find out if there's a problem. It means that you know whether you can offer something or whether you set the person free, point them in a different direction. There's no shame in that game. So I hope this is helpful. And now I'm nosy by nature. I want to know a couple of things. I want to know, have you had a really bad sales experience? And if so, type in the comments below. I also want to know, have you had a really great sales experience? I want to know these things. I genuinely want to know. This isn't an engagement piece. This is let me know your stories. I would love to hear them. And I hope this has been helpful. Please be less like Bob. Bob, you just lost a customer, and I know that doesn't probably mean a lot and people often shout that abusively, but you lost a customer who was just wanting to get their problem sorted out. And for those of you in the leadership team, do have a little check of how your salespeople are performing on the phone. They could be losing you clients, because what I heard from Bob and what I saw on the website was a complete mismatch. Couldn't get past that. It was a shame, but never mind. got the problem sorted with somebody else who did exactly that. So it's all good. Hopefully helpful. Let me know. As I say, your good, your bad, even your ugly stories of sales. Bye for now.